Okay, so I've marked that up for TR20. I was quiet on the emitter and the base. I had noise in the collector that I was able to hear, that T-shaped piece that went to both C142 and R110. So let's see, since we know this is quiet here, or at least I can't hear it, either it's all getting amplified and coming from TR20 or one of these other components around here and getting, let's see, where's that go? From here, it goes to this switch, comes back out of that switch, comes over, and yet comes to this point where we had noise here and here. And then from here it goes into a switch, comes out, comes into 22, comes out and goes into 24, goes to the transformer, and then gets into 26 where the power output is. So we've got a chain of events, and we found an early point here. I didn't hear anything on this side of it, and that makes sense because we didn't have anything here on the balance either. Alright, so either TR20 is noisy or one of these other components. Let me just see if we get anything different around in here. See what we get. Let me check on both sides of 142 and on 110. Let me find them and try it. Alright, so let's see. Here is, you can see that, there's R110. It's noisy on this side, and it's noisy on this side of 142. So I need to check this pad and this pad. So I'll check this one first, and then I'll check this one. Alright, so that one there is located. Let's see, here's my T-piece. I'm going to look at my drawing here. It's my T-piece. So then here is where the other side of the capacitor is. The noise is there on both sides of that capacitor, and this is the other side of that resistor. Silent. That's the power line coming in, if you will, for the collector for TR20. So you get on the other side of that resistor, and it's noisy. But on this side it's quiet. And then from there it connects to the collector of TR20. Also connects to that coupling capacitor, and it goes through the coupling capacitor and moves on the rest of the way. Alright, so let's look at that. Let me make some marks on here. Yeah, I need to get a different colored pen, yeah. But basically, so here's that noisy collector, comes up. It's noisy here, but on the other side of R110 it's quiet. On the other side of C142 it's noisy. So let's look at that on the schematic. So in the schematic, here we are. So the noise is here, it goes right through C142, but it stops here. It doesn't come, it's not here. It's not on the other side of R110. So this is basically the power rail going to the collector for this transistor, and it's noisy on the other side of 110. So I don't know, it's possible R110 is noisy, or I've got a bad solder connection, maybe in here, or maybe this transistor is bad. I'm going to turn up the volume on the stereo so we can hear it, and let me try moving some pieces around, see if something's got a bad connection. So bear with me a minute. Let me get that set up. Okay, so I've turned the volume board over. And by the way, I wanted to point out, when I was spraying these control units with the cleaner, I was spraying into these ports that you see right here. And that was enabling me to get in there and clean those out. So I know you couldn't see where I was spraying at the time, but I was shooting it down inside of here. That's where it was going. Okay, so it took me some looking around, but I found transistor 20. That's right here. You can see it. It says TR20 in there. And let me turn up the volume so you can hear the noise. hopefully. I'm going to see if moving that transistor makes any difference. I don't hear any difference. Alright, now that resistor that we were looking at, was it R110? That's right here. R110 is there. The text is hard to read, but that's it right there. So let me budge that guy. I don't detect a difference. I'm going to try a little bit of little blast of freeze spray here on this transistor to see if it makes any difference. Get my dexterity going for me here. Okay. I don't hear any difference on the transistor. Try the transistor. Let me try the resistor. I don't hear any difference there. C142 is this capacitor right there. Let me try him. No. I'll try moving C142. No, I'm not getting any. So I wouldn't get any difference in sound by moving these components around. So I think maybe what I need to try doing is let me try changing out that resistor, R110. I have a replacement of that, and that'd be pretty easy, and just eliminate that as maybe a source of the noise. And then TR20. Now TR20 is a 2SB 175B. I don't have one of those, but I know where I can find one, and that would be transistor 19. Will be the same one. Where's transistor 19 is here. You can see that. Transistor 19. That'll be the same one. So I'm going to try changing that resistor out. See if that resistor is the noisemaker. And if that doesn't help, then maybe what I'll do is try taking this transistor from the left side and putting it over here on the right side, and see if that makes the noise go to the left side instead of the right side if I swap them. That seems like that would be a logical thing to try. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is unsolder resistor 110 and replace it, and then we'll see if we get any difference in the noise, because if I bring my signal tracer back in on this, and I go to this side, there's that noise. Okay, it's on that input of that resistor coming out of the collector. I can't quite get to it because there's an insulator sleeve on it, but I can get to this side of R110. It's definitely there, but it's not on the other side. Alright, I'm going to change out R110, and we'll see what we get. That is a 33K resistor. Alright, I'll get that set up and I'll take care of that. Okay, so here are the three legs of T20, and that resistor is tied here, and there's two resistors tied onto this pad right here. It's the bottom one. I'm going to use my desoldering station to see if I can get that off without tearing the traces up. Let's see how we can do. Alright, let's see if that is a noisy component or not. Hey, you know what? We could try the noise function on my signal tracer and see if it's noisy. I'm probably going to be real disappointed here when I find out it's probably just fine. Yeah, it's part of the fun, right? Alright, let's get the signal tracer back up. Let's connect it here and here. Okay, don't touch it because it'll have a lot of voltage in it. Alright, so now I'm going to switch the signal tracer over to noise and turn the gain up. Well, it's silent. I don't hear anything. Sounds like the resistor is okay. I guess I'll put it back in. Okay, I'd say we got our noisy channel back. That's all the way left, it goes away. Well, that's too bad. I was hoping that changing that resistor out might have been a bit of stroke of luck to see if that was the cause of the noise that we're getting. I kind of knew better, but I was hoping that we would be lucky. So I was hoping that this R111 was the issue, and it's not. So what we're hearing is that this is a PNP germanium transistor. These all are. And that noise you hear is kind of a classic germanium transistor noise. It sounds like water, like a waterfall. That's what I've heard it described as. So what I can do is I can take this transistor and swap it with TR19. See here, TR 15, 16, 19, and 20 are all the 2SB 175Bs. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll take this one and swap it just to see if we can verify that this is the bad transistor. I'm assuming that it is. In fact, I've already ordered a replacement, but it'd be fun to swap this back and forth to see if we've really diagnosed it correctly and see if that's all it is. It's just that item, because then if that cleans up the right channel, then we know that we're on the right track. And these other ones hopefully will last a long time, since they've lasted this long. But these guys had a problem with I guess the seals around the case, and the moisture would get in there, and this thing is 50 years old at least. So this one's I think this one may have gone bad. So we'll swap it, see if that's it, and if that's the only one. And if that is, and hopefully when the substitution gets here, it'll work okay. And what I'll do is I'll substitute these both with the same transistor so that both channels stay the same. It may have a different bias setting, I'm not sure, but we'll see how that works out. So what I'm going to do is swap these two transistors, and what we'll do is we'll record how this thing sounds with a balance control, and then when we go back and get this thing replaced, we'll have a basis to which to compare and verify whether it really did work. Alright, so with that in mind, we're talking about TR20 and TR19. Okay, so as you remember, TR20 is here. Okay, TR20 is here, as we mentioned. There was that 110 resistor R10 110. So this is 20, and this is 19. So this is the left channel equivalent of this transistor. So what we'll do is we'll take this one out, and put it in here and see how it sounds in the right channel. Okay, so I'm going to be mindful of the pinouts on these transistors here. I can see it's got, if you can see it there, it's emitter-based collector. There's a blue sleeve going to the emitter. The base is in the center lead. The collector has got a red leg on it. So I'm going to try to remember that the colored dot is on the collector side. So I'm just going to put a bit of red here. Matches the red sleeve, and The C will remind me that that's the color spot. C for color, C for collector. So that'll help me if I get confused and wonder what in the world was I doing. Oh, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on here left, so that I can remember this is the one that was in the left channel, and so I'll put an R here, so I remember that was in the right channel as well. Okay, so I've got the irons heated up. Let me swap these around and see if I can get these things out without tearing stuff up. Okay, I'll take 20 out first since I know where that is. That's these 3 locations here. Okay, let's get that out of here. Alright, please be patient. Okay, I think this is our little criminal. USB 175 with a B in the circle B. Come on, focus. 2SB 175 would be in a circle. Alright, so that is the right one, and the red lead is the collector with a dot next to it. Alright, so that's T20. We'll go after T19 now. Okay, there's this piece here that runs here. It is right here. Let's see, wait a minute. No, here it is right here. So I've got this piece that runs through here like that. That's this right here. That's the base here. Let's see. Then the other 2 legs is one comes over from here to here, and the other one goes to here. So it's these 3 right here. Alright, let's get those off. I'll get this one off first, then I'll get these 2 here. Here we go. Here's 2SB 175B. So there's the one from the left side, and the red dot is next to the collector leg. Base is in the middle, emitter's blue. Okay. We put this into where T20 was and see if we have reversed the problem. Alright, so we got it in there where we got this on the back side of the board. So now what we want to do is see if we've got our channel back. So see if we have a right channel that doesn't have the waterfall noise. If it does still, then that transistor alone isn't the problem. So we'll see. And then if I put that other transistor into the left side, and it now has the waterfall, and we know that we have more than one transistor has a problem. Alright, so let's get this back up to power. Power on. Okay, I have waterfall on the right side. Of course, there's nothing on the left because I'm missing a transistor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that other transistor in where T19 was and see if left is clear now. And if so, that means that that transistor wasn't the problem. Alright, let me get set up to do that again. Okay, so off camera I went in and flipped that transistor around and got it installed. It was a lot easier to do without having to film it at the same time. I used the desoldering machine to go in there and really make sure those holes were clear, and then it went in real easy. Wasn't that difficult doing it that way. So yeah, it's in now. Okay, so we went back and let's refresh where we were. So we did a swap of TR20 with TR19 and found that that did not move the noise, that these two must be okay, because I took this one, which had a clear channel, brought it here, put it in this position, and this was still noisy. Then I took the transistor that was here and installed it here, and I had this channel back performing without any noise. So these two transistors were actually okay, is what that means to me. So it makes you wonder, so what's wrong with my diagnostics here? So I've gone back in and thinking, okay, so I tested TR18 and said I wasn't getting any noise on it, and I wasn't getting noise out here at the volume control, and then also I think I said I didn't get any noise here. But anyway, let's go back, and I was thinking about, well, maybe my signal tracer was only able to pick up the signal after this amplification stage, and maybe there actually is some noise back in here that I just couldn't hear because it hadn't been amplified off of the base of TR20. So what I want to do is go back in there and listen again. I can do it right here off the balance control. Listen again and see if I can hear it. So what I'm going to do is I've disconnected the speakers, and then we hook up the signal tracer and see if I can hear it here. And then let's see what we get. So I'm going to hook that up and we'll see how that works out. Alright, let's turn power on to here. Okay, we're hearing the noise. So there's phono and 8-track. So I'm not really getting a lot of noise on the FM, and so that makes me look at, you know, what's going on with the circuit here. Now, one of the things that I'm going to need to go to the larger drawing on is, if you're getting a difference, then that makes me say, okay, where's the program selector? Because I'm getting a lot of noise when I'm listening to 8-track, and this is the 8-track section. Okay, so what it does is this right here says 4B, and that actually goes to the program selector for the right channel. When it comes back from D, so that says 4D. You need to look at the larger schematic to show that to you. So here's the non-blown up version. We were just talking right in here, so if we get up here, alright, so here's the 4D that comes in and shows this is where the output of the program selector goes to D. And then here's where B comes in for the 8-track. Okay, so it's shown in the 8-track position right now. So it comes from the 8-track, comes into here, and goes to D. If it's phono, then that's in position 1, and this switches up to here. Now, if you're looking at this schematic later, I've determined that this is drawn wrong. That line there should go straight up to 1 and not joined up here. So that's an error on the left side of this drawing. You can look at it yourself if you ever have to work on the left side, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, so that's what's going on between B and D. But I'm also getting the noise from 1, which is the phono, and it just simply comes right off of that jack for phono. So it makes me think it's not really on the 8-track side per se. So let's go back and look. I'm going to take you back down here, but on the big drawing, blown up drawing. Alright. So here is where the 8-track circuit goes off to the selector switch, and then this is where it comes back from the selector switch. So this is where not only 8-track comes in, but phono comes in FM stereo comes in. So I'm thinking that the problem needs to be on the amplifier side of this. So it's this way. And it's going to be before transistor 20. So it might be 18. So let's see if I can hear anything up here at the balance control. Okay, I hear it. I don't know if you can hear that. Here you go, turn the volume up. Now you can hear it, right? Now I don't hear it. It is a problem with the volume control for that one channel. Now it's behaving okay. Okay, so when I turn this volume up, disconnect the speakers, turn the volume up all the way, I hear it there. That's in phono, and I hear it. There's 8-track. FM, let's see, let me turn it down, it might be loud. I might get it now. Okay. All right, so I am picking it up at the balance control. Now I'm picking it up on this lead here, which comes in right in here. So this tells me that yes, we do have the noise in here. It's quiet, but we can hear it. I may be in an area here where the signal tracer is having a hard time picking it up, so I need to think of something else to do. Normally with a radio I would inject in a signal and then pick it up on the signal tracer as I work through, and I'm not injecting a signal here, that's why it's so low. Let me rig up the signal tracer back to where I'm picking this up really strong. Was it at the collector of T20? Where is that? Here. So I'm picking it up there. Maybe what I'll do is hook up the signal tracer to that and then see what I can do about looking at the signal inputs. Maybe what I can do is use a capacitor and kill the noise coming in at different points by grounding it through a capacitor and see if I can make that go away. Then that may show me where it's, where it's coming in. Let me get this hooked up because I don't have something to attach this to here. I'll hook up a grabber on the other side somehow. So let me see if I can get that hooked up. Okay, let me see if I can get that hooked up. Okay, so what I did was here on TR20, if you remember, we changed that resistor out. There's an exposed lead on that. So what I've done is I've put a grabber onto that to capture the signal coming off of the collector for TR20 and sending that to the signal tracer. So if we take this and turn this around, see what I've done is I've attached a grabber in there on where that resistor is. You can see transistor 20 right there, and then that little resistor, what was it, 110, R110, right next to it. I've attached the, you can't see that, but I've attached the grabber on that input going from the collector of 20 into the input of that resistor. So that's got us connected there. Alright, so now what I can do is take, I'm just using the leads I had handy. Okay, so there is our noise that's coming out of the collector of TR20. So now I've just grabbed a capacitor. What is this? I just grabbed the 10 microfarad, 200 volts. That's more than enough in all cases, but it'll work. And what I'm going to do is ground this end here. What I'll do is ground it with the ground that also goes to the chassis here. Let's see what I've done there. Alright, it's the ground. And now the hot side, I'm going to do a little probing. If I touch something and the noise goes away, then that should mean that the noise was coming into that point and I just shunted that noise to ground. So let's just see if that works. So let me see. If I go here and say, okay, so if I go back on over to 20 and I should be able to come right here. Let's take that to ground and see if that works. Okay, see, that works. So that is taking this part here and taking that AC noise, okay, and grounding it out so that it doesn't get to the base of 20, okay? And when I did that, that made the noise go away. So that says the noise is coming from the left. Because once I get rid of the noise here, there's nothing else creating noise this way. I'm just hoping that's the way this works. So let's see, let's go back to, well, let's go back to the collector of 18 and see what we get there, okay? Go to the collector of 18. Alright, so let's see if we can find where 18 is. I believe 18 is up here. Yeah. TR18 is here. The collector is this dog bone looking thing. There's two dog bones. It's this one here. That's the collector. Sorry, that's the emitter. That's the emitter. The collector is here. Well, that's the base of 18. There's the collector of 18. And this is the emitter of 18. Okay. So that looks like 18 might be worth taking out and swapping. So I got my capacitor. Right? And I come to the emitter, the base. Nothing coming into the base. That kills what's coming into the base. So the noise might be entering the base. It comes out of the collector as well. Alright, so grounding the noise off the collector makes the noise at 20 go away, which makes sense. But so does getting rid of the noise going into the base do as well. Now the emitter has a lot of noise coming from the emitter side. Alright, so let's go back to, would that be 16? Let's go back not quite that far. So now we can go to, alright, so we were just testing 18. When we shunted the emitter to ground, we got a really loud noise coming in, which is kind of suspicious. When we took the output of the collector and put that to ground through the capacitor, the noise went away. And when we did that to the base, the noise went away. So let's look at the let's do this to the wiper of the volume control and see what we get. Okay, so here's our capacitor again. So there's no noise coming in. I mean, there's at the wiper, I can kill the noise by grounding it out. Right? So let's see, that means any noise that's here we get rid of. Then I can try coming from the function control and see if that gets rid of it too, see if it's coming from there. So let me do that 4D, and I believe that is located. Okay, 4D, let me turn this up. I can see it here on the other side of the board where it's connected. Okay, I'm connected on the 4D place. You can see that. There's a place here that says 4D. Right in there. And that's this post right there. So if I use the capacitor on that, that does not make that noise go away. So that tells me the noise is not coming from the function switch. So when we connect up to the volume control here, the noise goes away. Connecting it here does not make any difference. Okay, well, I think what we're going to do is, you know, if I attach the capacitor, focus. Come on, focus. Okay. If I attach that grounding capacitor on either leg of this volume control, even up there at 4D, it does not kill the noise. If I touch the wiper, it kills the noise. And it does also kill it here if I touch the base of transistor 18. So that tends to make me think it could be the volume control, it could be this capacitor, or it could be this transistor. To me, that sounds like the noise that a germanium transistor makes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like I did a minute ago. I'm going to take 18 and swap it with 17. This one's actually easier to get to than 20. So I'm just going to do that because the noise sounds like a germanium to me. So I'm going to change that out. And then if that's not it, then I'll work my way back and look at this capacitor. And if it's a volume control, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that because I may not have a replacement for that. And it's all ganged on one shaft with the left volume control as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and swap these transistors because I can do it. It's kind of a brute force thing to try to find it, but it won't take that long. And so I'm going to change that and quit puzzling over it, and then we'll know if that transistor is the problem or not. So let me get my signal tracer out of the way and set it for the desoldering, and I'll swap those two capacitors out. That's the plan. Okay, so I'll flip the board over, and here is 18. Actually, that's 19. Where's 18? Here's 18. TR18, and here's 17. TR is 17. And I've marked them both already. This one at the top, you can see it says 18. I put a red dot next to where the collector is, and the same thing here on 17. I've written 17 on top, and I put a red dot next to collector. But once again, the collector's got the red insulating sleeve on it, so that's just in case I kind of get confused. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get these both out. So here's 18. Power is off to this unit, it's unplugged. So 18 is here. Sorry, 18 is here. So that is here, here, and here. Alright, so let's get those desoldered. Okay, it's out. Okay, there's 18. Alright, let me get 17 out. Alright, that one's out as well. Got it. Okay, so here is 17, Alright, so let me, got 17 and 18. So I'll be putting 18 back up here and 17 down here. I'll move 17 first, just see what that does for that channel. That's 18. And that is 17. Yep. Alright, this is 17. This was on the left channel. We'll put it where 18 was for the right channel. Just cleaning off some of the extra solder and stuff that was on here. It was going to get in my way. There we go. Some bad looking solder connections all over this board. Probably wouldn't hurt to just reflow some of these things. Okay. Alright, so now we've got what was 17 in position of 18. Shall we see if that did any good? Place your bets. Let's see. I'm going to go straight to the speakers. Turn power on. Engagement rings for everybody. That's the 8-track.
Any diamond and precious gemstone, free of charge. Visit Jared today and see why Jared, love brilliantly. Diamond guarantee requires.
That's the 8-track. I don't hear any noise. All right, let's put what was 18 into place 17. Let's see if we now have noise on the left channel. That won't take long. Let me just do it real quick. Okay. Let's see if we now have noise on the left channel. Power back up. Left channel has noise now. Right channel's clean. Guys, we found it. Okay, so we swapped those two transistors, and the noise moved from the right channel to the left channel, and now the right channel is okay. Okay, so now we know that that guy right there, which was in slot 18, is bad. Okay, so that resistor, let's try it one more time. That transistor, on the schematic. All right, that was 18. This guy right here was the problem. Okay, so 18 is a 2SB346. So I need a replacement for that. Now it just so happened that I had ordered, when I thought 20 was the problem, a replacement for 2SB175B. Alright, these germanium transistors, I believe, are pretty much the same. They have different numbers here, but they're not super high frequency. These are not like the ones you'd have in a radio section. These are audio section guys that have lower frequencies. So when I got the replacement for this, I ended up with a NTE 158, and I believe that's the same as what you use for 18 as well. I'll double check that, but otherwise I think what I'll do is pop that in. So that bad one is now up here in 17. So I'll take this and install it in 17 and see if that doesn't fix it all. And I do have another one of these. I have two of these. So if that works, I may change out 18 as well, so both of these are NTE 158s, so that if there's any difference between that and original equipment, at least both the channels will be the same. So we'll see. Let me do that, and we'll see how that sounds. So this goes into slot 17. Okay, so I verified this NTE 158 will work in the place of this T18, which is a 2SB 346. It's also the same as 2SB 1750 175B. Anyway, so that's pretty handy. Anyway, so we're going to be replacing it, substituting it for a 2SB 346. Now, when I look at the pinout on the back side of this, okay, it seems to me that the emitter and the collector, it's like when I was plugging in 20, let's see, it would look like that. Yeah, that looks right. That looks the same as what we had on the other one. I'm going to plug it into my component tester though and just make sure I'm reading this right, but I believe it should drop right into the same spots without having to. I was wondering if I needed to move B over to the other side by bending the wire a little bit and bringing it over, but I think that's okay. I'll double check it on the component tester though. Okay, there she is. So let me get these plugged into the component tester and we'll see what we got. But I believe that's the base, and then that would be the collector, and that would be the emitter. So we'll see how that works out. Get this into the component tester and we'll find out. Okay, you see I've got 2, 3, and 1 engaged here. So we'll see which one's which. Okay, base is 3, the collector is 1, and the emitter is 2. Alright, so let's see if that makes sense. The emitter is 2. Try it again. Okay, so the emitter is 2, base is 3, and collector is 1. Yep, that's the same way we had it on the other one. I'm going to make a mark on the collector side and the base is in the middle. So I'm thinking that the collector is in slot 1. Correct. So mark it. Okay, so that's, barely see it. There's the collector, and then emitters in the middle, and sorry, the base is in the middle, and the emitters on the far side. All right, let's get her in. All right, so we're going to take out the one that's now in spot 17 and replace it. So let's get that fella out. I think this is our bad actor right here, guys.